What do you want to know?
Well, about the team, about you a little bit too. So I know that with your former player, just wanted to kind of get your thoughts on how transitioning into a coach came about for you.
85 was my last year playing. 86, I got released by the Angels. Nothing transpired. Was out of baseball for a year. Had a buddy of mine that was the best man at my wedding that found out about an opening with the Yankees, and I inquired about it, and they hired me to manage their short season A team in Oneonta. So, and what I thought about it. Actually, you don't really ever think about it there. And one of the writers in Boston come up to me after talking with Ralph Houck one day, and he said, "Hey, I just asked Ralph who he thought would make a good manager on your club, and right away, first name he came to you was you." So I started thinking about it there. I sat in the bullpen enough there, and I would, being a catcher, you're always thinking about how you're gonna get a hitter out, how you're gonna set him up, what's his weaknesses and his strengths and stuff, and and I started thinking about it there. I was wondering. He needs to get somebody up right now because this guy's struggling. He would get two right-handers up. Why was he getting two right-handers up? Well, one was if the game was close, he was going to bring him in. The other one if it wasn't close. So it kind of probably started the wheels spinning a little bit there. And, I kind of found out that managing wasn't that much different than playing. You're still competing. What I did find out, though, is, when you're playing and you're losing, nothing bothers you because you know you're going to come back. When you're a manager, you always think of the worst case scenario, so it kind of leaves you on edge a little bit. Key is to mask that. Don't let the players see that.
Yeah.
But that's basically what you do. So that was 1987 when I first started managing. 26 years ago.
Wow. Now, I know you mentioned playing with Boston. I know you had a short stint with the Toronto organization as a player. Now, just maybe comparing those two organizations back then and maybe now, any kind of any thoughts there?
Well, the Blue Jays at the time were an up-and-coming organization. Their first year was '77. So when I was a player playing against them, they were, trying to build an organization then. Ended up getting some pretty good players, and by the time I got there in '85, they were a pretty good ball club there. So, it took, 7, 8 years to finally get over the hump and stuff. But, I was fortunate playing in Boston. I think I played with 5 or 6 Hall of Famers. So,
wow.
Yeah, that's... and you know what? We were never a first place. There wasn't, 8 teams making the playoffs back then. It was just the winner of the East against the winner of the West. So we had good teams, but not quite good enough. And it was a very competitive division where a different team seemed to win the East every year. But it was obviously a real good experience.
And New Hampshire's a team that competes in this league. It seems, year in and year out here. Just recently, just maybe this year versus other years of recent playoff stints. This club's not laced with the prospects that it's been in recent years. What are your thoughts on this club this year?
Well, were you saying we don't have as many prospects? Is that what you're saying?
Big time names, like recognizable names right now.
Well, you know what? First off, the recognizable names are usually guys that are first-round picks. And first-round picks, a lot of them make it, some of them don't make it. And guys turn themselves into prospects. So, we're not where we need to be right now as far as a team's concerned. We're 15 and 19. And we have, obviously, I could point to a couple things of why we're 15 and 19. The defense needs to get better, although it has been fairly good the last few games. The starting pitching lately has been spotty. Command's not been good. The bullpen hasn't been very good either. So I know they all know that they're capable of much better. So when we start meshing the pitching and the defense, along with some hitting, that wasn't there until late yesterday. So when we start combining those three, we'll start playing better baseball.
And you mentioned the starting pitching. I know that Ryan T. and Marcus have been, fair contributors for this club thus far. They've had some success. What are your thoughts on those guys?
Well, what Walden pitched yesterday there, he had a mulligan first inning there where he relied too much on his fastball and not his other stuff, especially when he was in a jam, and it cost him 4 runs. And hopefully we learn from those experiences there. From a hitter standpoint there, we faced a left-handed finesse guy there that we didn't figure out. A guy that either you move up in the batter's box and make him pitch inside or get a little close to the plate there, and we just, and maybe he was on his A game yesterday there, but sometimes you tip your hat to a pitcher, but I didn't feel like yesterday was one of them.
Sure, and I know this club's got, a good collection, or not a good collection, but a considerable collection of names or bodies on the DL. Chad and AJ and things like that. What are outlooks for those guys and maybe returns and joining this club?
Well, I don't know how far away Jimenez is. Hopefully, it's not too far. We also just got Jenkins and Nolan, two of our starting pitchers, up from extended that are going to be key contributors. I think they just got to get some of the kinks out right now. Might take them a couple of starts there, but once we get those guys rolling, and Jimenez is one of those guys that the organization thinks fairly high of, a very good defensive catcher that also hits. So it's a long season. It's a marathon. It's 142 games there. We've played 34. So I've seen stranger things happen. It's way too early. We just started our second month of competitive baseball in the Eastern League here, and it's a long way to go. And we can get on a roll with what we got here right now, but guys need to start clicking with the bat and clicking with on the mound.
Talked about maybe a lack of recognizable names. There's a guy that's maybe forcing his name to be recognized. Kevin Pillar's been a good contributor, maybe a little bit of a surprise to some. Are you surprised by him, or is there any other pleasant surprises on this team?
I know. You know what? I know it's no surprise to Kevin Pillar. He's always known he could play and compete, and this is my first year back with the Blue Jays since 1985. Heard a lot of people talk about him. Didn't see a lot of him in spring training because he was in big league camp or on a different field. But he's all that he's made out to be. He's a baseball player. He knows how to play the game. He knows how to win. He may not get a hit, although I can't remember but a handful of games where he didn't get a hit. But he's the kind of guy that can help you win without the bat. He can help you win with the base running, win with the defense. He's been easily the best defensive outfielder I've seen in quite a while.
Wow. Anybody else a pleasant surprise on this club?
You know what? Well, we got Robinson here, who he's been a AAA guy. He's down at AA, and sometimes that's a tough adjustment to make of moving down and compete instead of moving up. And he's probably hitting 330, 320, 330 for us, and he's a key part of our lineup. He's not in tonight, but Kevin Nolan is a shortstop there that missed early time there because of a hamstring problem. He's back up there with us. I'm being a little careful with him with the hamstring, but he's swinging the bat much better lately. I think he's up to 275, 280. So what we need to do is we've put pressure on the opposition, but we haven't done a real good job of driving the runs in, and that we need to get guys clicking when there's guys in score position.
And then one last thing for you here, and I appreciate your time so much. Thank you. I saw you guys play out a couple Sundays ago out in Reading. Jesse Biddle looked sharp after a shaky start, and he got a little lucky in the first inning. Best friend, ground ball, double play in the first inning. Not so lucky last weekend when he faced you guys up at home. Was there a changing game plan? Maybe just encourage guys to be more patient against them?
I don't think so. That guy's really good, first off. Second off, he just all of a sudden for one start didn't have his command, and we got 3 runs on one hit off him. Van Kirk hit a flared 2-run single to right. But, he was his own worst enemy with his command. And you know what? We've done the same thing, but not probably that bad the first inning there. But, that's part of being a professional there is forgetting about the bad ones there and moving on there. And he's got pretty good stuff.
Absolutely. Coach, thanks so much for your time. Good luck to you.
All right, buddy.
All right.
Go with everything.